Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we look at a recent stall that I did when I was in the state of Kentucky. I was hitting up all the whiskey trails. Spoiler alert, I spent a lot of money. And what an absolute hitter of a store haul we have for you folks at home. And I will reveal all about where I got all of these bottles. So you know the drill, folks, run that video. All right then folks, thank you for joining us for another new and exciting episode here on the Whiskey Cove, where I finally get to go through all these bags that have kind of been lingering in the background of a lot of these videos that I've been putting out. Today is finally the day. But before we do a quick announcements here, and that's because we had a bottle donated for the charity raffle from one of the patrons, David Lee. Thank you so much, David, for donating this. This is the James E. Pepper Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, bottled at the historic James Pepper in Lexington, Kentucky, 53.8% alcohol. If you want to get a chance for one of these, it's $10 a ticket. All the information is down below. We have some excellent prizes. We are so close to getting to our target. We're lingering around about $450 right now. I have a couple of sponsorships that I'm going to be running in this month of August, the month from October 22nd to November 22nd to help us get closer to that $1,000 target that I have. And then also as well, I'll be donating some of my own money from the Whiskey Cove monetization for the videos of that month. So we would love to get to 1,000. Let's get those tickets in. It is $10 a piece. All the information is down below. With that being said, it's been quite a long time and I can't quite remember everything I have. But there's gotta be some special bottles in here, let's just tell you straight away. So some of these bottles don't even belong in these bags, so I'm just gonna pull a few here. So first up, on my way to Kentucky, we picked up this Blue Note. That was the Blue Note uncut and unfiltered. This is a single barrel pick here. I picked it up because it was only $31, which is insane, and it's 63% ABV. I don't think I've seen one above 63% ABV or 126 proof, so I definitely had to pick that up. This is from hand selected by Vintegrity from Missouri. So I think this was from a place in Columbia, Missouri, as I was driving through, but for 31 bucks, absolute bargain. Staying with, on the way there, picked up this Hoyo Rendezvous Rye. This was $60, which is a great price, and it was kind of the limited label. They're not going to run this label before, so this is a little bit of a collector because I'm a big Hoyo fan. I haven't had one of these, and I think that's just a good bottle to have around just as it is, and with that label, even better. And next up, we have this Baker's. We managed to pick up a Baker's. It's 53.5% ABV. I was promising myself I wouldn't pick one up, and then on my way back, I was like, heck, let's just get one, shall we? And I picked this one up mainly because the date that this was barreled was February 2014. This has been sitting on the shelves for a little bit, but this is 8 years and 10 months. So I had to get it, 8 years and 10 months. You don't find them much older than that. I think I paid right around $53 for that as well. We don't like to pay too much more, but in this case, what a great price here. And let's go into this one next. This is the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. I saw a few of these actually on my journey there, but this is, again, anytime I buy the barrel proof Tennessee whiskey or the barrel proof rye, now I'm looking for the ones that are 65% ABV or above, or 130 proof, and this falls right in line with that because this is 65.6% ABV or 131.2 proof. So we have a couple of backups for that, so I don't really need to be looking for them anymore. However, if I see one that's like 67% ABV, I'm definitely gonna have to jump on that there. Next up, and let's do this bottle. That is the Maker's Mark Heart release here. So we picked this up at the Maker's Distillery with another bottle, and that other bottle is this bottle. This bottle, as you can see, I killed pretty fast because it was very, very tasty. However, I have a sample left, and I have a specific reason that I've kept that sample. It's because I want to taste some of the single barrels that I picked up from Kentucky and let you folks know if it's worth getting them or if it's a little bit gimmicky. But this bottle being empty should tell you just how good it was. And then again, I was able to pick up the heart release from the distillery. So this is interesting. They actually did two releases of the heart release. There's one that's 56% ABV or 112 proof, and there's another one which is slightly less ABV and proof. I didn't know that until someone pointed it out to me, and I really want to try to find the other one to kind of do a little bit of a head-to-head. But yeah, very happy that I was able to get this, that I didn't have to go hunting it down in Colorado. And this single barrel pick, which was called the Springberry Crumble, and you might still be able to find find this at the distillery if they still have it. This was lights out good as well. From March 2024, 54.15% ABV. Both of those are at MSRP at the distillery. They weren't gouging too much. I wasn't able to find the cellar age that apparently there was rumors that they had put some out, but the time I got there they said that they had already blown through all of that, so that was a shame. Moving into two very unique bottles that I was able to score whilst I was in Kentucky. This is the Wild Turkey 101, aged 8 years, and then we also got Wild Turkey 12 years. So these are only international releases. However, there are about 4 or 5 stores in the state of Kentucky that have access to be able to sell this sort of stuff. Who they get it from, I have no idea. I think if it's like a very niche or like an older bottle they can sell, wherever they get that from, I don't know. Wherever they get this from, I don't know. But it's cheaper than it is on secondary. I think these are about $130, $140. I think I was able to pick them up for about 120 bucks. So not as expensive as they are on secondary. This was a 1 liter bottle. This was a 700 milliliter bottle, so definitely bear that in mind. But wow, we tried both at the store and I was blown away by just how good they were. I really want to do more videos of this Wild Turkey 12. The place that I got these from was called Neat Bottle Shop in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're down in Louisville, you want to score some of these, it's called N-E-A-T, Neat Bottle Store. They have a bunch of other things. They have like the different Blantons from around the world. Yes, it's a little bit pricey, but it's still cheaper than secondary for those bottles. So I'm not getting those anytime soon. So I definitely wanted to pick those up. Next up, we stopped by Lux Row. I was hoping that they might have some fun Penelope stuff there. However, they didn't. They had the twice barreled bottle that's like a 200 bucks. I wasn't willing to pay that. So I just picked up this bottle. I picked up the David Nichols 1843. Not a bottle we really see here in Colorado too much. So I thought, heck, while I was at the distillery having a drink, I may as well pick it up. I paid $27.99 for it, so maybe a little bit pricier than what it was. They also had Ezra Brooks and Ezra Brooks single barrel pick step, but they wanted like $80 for that, which was crazy price, so I definitely wasn't going to pay that for it. Also, let's do all these together here. So I had a few friends help me with these because it's not something we can get in Colorado here much, these were from the Heaven Hill Distillery. They were a little pricey, but again, not something that we can get here in Colorado, and that was 2 of these. These are the Heaven Hill Elijah Craig Grenades. 125 proof, both of them are, or 62.5% ABV. So these are the barrel selects. So I think what they do is they just have people tasting through some of the barrels and they just kind of bottle ones they kind of like here at the distillery. The size of these bottles, I think they're 200 milliliters if my memory serves me correct. So 200 milliliters, I think they were $35, so a little bit pricey for what you're getting for 35 bucks for something that small. However, again, super unique, a really good bottle that I can go and take over to a bourbon drinker's house here in Colorado. We can have a few drinks and I can kind of leave it there with them because it's not something they're able to get and just something really cool. And apparently these are supposed to be really good. So I'm going to be excited to open up one of those. Next up, we have, this is the Woodford Reserve pick that I talked about in another video here. So this is Woodford Reserve blended malt, 45.2% ABV or 90.4 proof. This set me back a pretty penny. This was about $69 out the door for 375 milliliter bottle. I'm not going to tell you if I like this or if I don't, because again, part of that video, I don't want to give away too much, is I'm going to taste through them. I'm going to tell you if it's worth getting them. But this is kind of like the distillery single barrel, if you like. You can't get this anywhere else, I believe, apart from that place there. So for $65, I was going to get it regardless, but you know, we paid that amount of money for that bottle. Moving on, this was a bottle that we got from Bardstown. This is like the distillery single barrel, if you like. This cost me, that's the wrong receipt. Look, this one's under here. Oh, there we go. This cost me $68.89. That's with tax out the door. And this is the Bardstown Bourbon Company small batch stave finish. So again, this is kind of almost like Maker's Mark. They kind of blend their own, they get their own whiskey and then they put it in a different blend of staves. I think that's what they do here. Apart from they finish it with those different oak staves. There's also a different kind of breakdown of the mash bills and the sourcing on the back. So they have 48% from Georgia, 26 is their own distiller, 20% then from an unknown Kentucky distiller, and then 6% from another unknown Kentucky distiller. So again, a bottle that I wanted to pick up, I want something unique and special from Bardstown. I had such a great experience whilst I was there. I definitely wanted to represent with that there. Moving on, let's go to Wild Turkey here. We went down to Wild Turkey and we picked up one of these bottles, and that is their Wild Turkey Private Selection. So it's kind of looked like the Kentucky Wild Spirits. Single barrels that you picked, but the label's a little different. Maybe they just changed the label here recently and I just haven't noticed. This is 101 proof, exactly the same as the Wild Turkey Private Selection usually. I paid a little above what you'd expect from somewhere else. This was $80. So normally you would expect like the Russell single barrels or the Wild Turkey Spirit Private Selection to be more close to like 50 or 60. So this is a little bit pricey. So it better be good, that's all I'm saying. This is a 750 milliliter bottle, and again, a single barrel selection from those folks down there in Wild Turkey. Let's see how good that is and if it stands up to that $80 price tag. We have quite a few more, and let's start with a nice rare one, shall we, from down here. Oh. So we obviously went to Heaven Hill. We managed to pick up the Toasted Rye. It probably has been released everywhere by now, but when I was down in Kentucky, this was a hard bottle for me to find. I paid MSRP and I'm very happy that I was able to get that bottle. And of course, as you can see, we got this nice special bottle here. So initially, when I went down to Kentucky, I had my sights set on the Old Fitz 13. I really wanted to get them. So we went down there, and if you know anything about Heaven Hill, they do a lot of like morning releases. So I would say on average about 4 or 5 times a week they'll have releases, but they will only mention when they open up. So you could be lining up there for ages. I got there around 4:15 in the morning. Fortunately for me, they did have this bottle. They didn't have the Old Fitz 13 that day. They had this, the Heaven Hill Heritage Collection, aged 18 years. Such a beautiful bottle. Look at that box as well to go with it. And I do have the receipt here to tell you how much I paid for it. So I paid $59.99 for the Elijah Craig Toasted Rye, which I'm actually thinking about it is quite a lot of money. No, it's not actually. I think the Bourbon's only $55, so that's buying in line. And then for this guy, I paid $320, which again, I think is right around MSRP for the 18-year. Very excited I was able to get this. Again, you have to kind of get out there early and just cross your fingers and hope that they have something special that day. And of course, they did, and I'm very happy with that bottle there. We have a lot of bottles here on the floor here. Let's do this Michter's bottle. So Michter's sometimes release a lot of bottles in the morning. It's kind of a little bit of a crapshoot, but they also let you do the fill your own single barrel proof, which is, if I could get there on time, I would have wanted to do. However, I couldn't, and they didn't have that at the time. But what they did have was this bottle, and I have to get this bottle before it runs out, and that is the Bomb Burgers from 2023. We absolutely loved this bottle of Bomb Burgers. Such a great release. I wasn't able to get this year's because they hadn't released it at the distillery yet, so I'm going to keep a lookout for that whilst I'm in here in Colorado. But what a great bottle of whiskey. I did pay a little bit more than I would like to pay, but as someone who knows this bottle, the MSRP has gone up to $130 now, so that's how much I paid, $129.99. We have some more here. We have this guy, which I don't even know what this is. Oh, okay, here we go. So this is the Jim Beam Distiller Share. So this is another kind of bottle that is only available there at the distillery. So this is the 5th release, I believe this is. Yeah, extended fermentation. I believe they've had a bunch of different releases, and I think this is their 5th. So this is the extended fermentation. Fermentation time is 5 days extended. Aged in American white oak for 6 years. Yeah, batch 5. Release date was the summer of 2024. 54% ABV or 375 milliliters there, or 108 proof, sorry. So how much did we pay for this guy? So we paid a total of $75 for this. So again, a lot of money, but I definitely wanted to get something unique from Jim Beam. We'll see how good it is before I make my judgment on that, but we also picked up something else there as well, and that was this guy. That was Hardin's Creek Golden Oranges. This is the 11-year Hardin's Creek corn whiskey. This is coming in at 53% ABV or 106 proof. Kind of has almost like the Jim Beam black bottle, but this does have a cork on it as well, like a leather satchel with a little bit of information about the golden origins there. This was a pretty little penny. That was $120. We'll see how good this is for corn whiskey, but again, a bottle that you cannot get in Colorado on something that's not really easily obtainable, so I think this is an allocated bottle, so happy to get that. Yes, $120, a little pretty penny, but we're not going to get this in Colorado. Very happy with that there. 2 bottles left. So the penultimate bottle is going to be Four Roses Barrel Strength Single Barrel. So this was OESQ, which is the 20% rye mash bill, bottled in May of 2024. So alcohol ABV on this is going to be 62% or 124 proof. Warehouse FS, and then the barrel number is 13-5. So this is considered tier 5. Age on this is going to be 9 years and 2 months. So a pretty good bottle that you don't see every day. Tier 5, high ABV, the 62% ABV. Price was a little higher than I wanted to, it was $100, but I think you're paying basically that for that price nowadays anywhere you go, which is a bottle that I'd like to see back when it was about $80. However, I think because that's tier 5, because that's a little bit higher proof and it's a good age, I'm okay with paying that $100 for that. So the last bottle that we were able to get, oh, by the way, I got that from the Four Roses Distillery. I got the Jim Beam stuff from the Jim Beam Distillery. I got the Bardstown one at the Bardstown Distillery. I got the Wild Turkey one at the Wild Turkey Distillery, the Heaven Hill stuff at the Heaven Hill Distillery. So that's where I got all that from, if I didn't mention that. Lastly, one of the reasons why we wanted to go down to Kentucky was we wanted to get this bottle, which we were very happy because on the first day, albeit we had this awesome bottle of the Heaven Hill 18, we went back the next day to try our luck, hoping, crossing our fingers. And then someone came to the door and they told us what we wanted to hear. That was, today is gonna be Fitz very rare 13. So this is such a special bottle. A lot of the history on this bottle goes back many years because not only is this distilled for 13 years, but it was distilled so long ago. This whiskey was so good that at that time they stopped the aging process in the barrel and they put it into like stainless steel vats because they didn't want to change the flavor, and they did that because they wanted to keep that bottle for a very special occasion, and that was to celebrate 25 years of distilling Old Fitzgerald, and this bottle commemorates that. This was from 25 years ago when they actually distilled this distillate. They then aged it for 13 years, which was 12 years ago, and then they pulled it out of the barrel, so this has been in stainless steel for 12 years. So it's technically 25 years old, but it's been aged for 13 years and they're just sitting around not doing anything for an additional 12. How much do we pay for this? I have no idea. I do not have maybe I do. I believe I paid around about $225. I don't remember. But as you can see, so many bottles, I'm kind of losing track a little bit by this. I got this from the Heaven Hill Distillery. I was there $4.15, like I said. Each time I was there, at that time, I was about 4th in line. So each time they had about 30 to 50 bottles. So if you get there before 5, I think you'll have a good shot at getting one of these bottles. It's just in Bardstown. With that being said, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you now know a little bit more about where to find some of this really good whiskey in and around Kentucky. And we're going to be doing a fun few videos here in the future, and then you'll be able to kind of make a decision if these are the bottles that you want. With that being said, thank you for watching today's video as we drink through the world's whiskey one glass at a time. Cheers.